Hi, Abe.
Hey, how are you?
Good, and you?
Good. This is Abe Freetanzer from cinemadailyus.com, and I'm thrilled to be here today speaking with Richard E. Grant about the
Thank
film
you.
Everybody's Talking About Jamie. Thanks.
Abe
Thanks.
Freetanzer.
That's me. Yes. Thank you so much, Richard, for being here.
Thank you.
This film is a lot of fun, and it feels like this role was almost written for you. Is that the case?
Wow. No, because it had been a big hit in the West End and the theatre in London, and no, I'd never played a drag queen before, so I'm delighted that you think that it was written for me.
What was your familiarity with the project and with the show before coming onto the film?
I had seen the BBC documentary about Jamie New that it's based on 6 years ago, and had heard about the musical and had never seen it mostly because the time that it was on I was working abroad. And then when I was offered the part and they said, do you want to go and see it? And I thought, if I go and see the person that's playing it, I won't have the courage to try and do it, and I'll just think that they're so much better than I could ever be. So I didn't, and I still haven't.
What appealed to you about it, about the role?
Terror. Never been in drag, never been in heels, never sung on film or danced or done any of that. And because he starts off as such a down and out failure of a character, and then has this rebirth when he becomes the mentor of this teenage kid with a dream, I thought that was that you're resurrected by somebody else's dream, and he's reminded of what he was like when he was a teenager. So I identified with that feeling of that you can have a second act in your life.
That's very nice. And did you have any part in selecting any of the wigs or dresses or accessories that your character wears?
I think that it was about a 2-month process of trial and error. They kept trying short wigs on me, and I said, oh no, I look like a sort of
It's funny.
Liza Minnelli car park attendant. So I said, let's go for big hair, because this was the 80s, of the era of Mrs. Thatcher as Prime Minister in England. And RuPaul, which I binge watched 11 series in 3 weeks, said the bigger the hair, the closer you are to God. I thought, that's the key. So that plus the high heels and a double D cup bra. And, I had a great team of people that worked all of that out, on me to make the best that they possibly could, to paint me up to looking something reasonable.
And what was the experience of singing and dancing on screen like? And is that something you'd like to repeat in the future?
Oh, yeah, I really enjoyed it, but it is daunting, because that unlike in the theatre, you can, if you're not the greatest singer and there's no soundtrack, then it's a matter of opinion. But if it's on a soundtrack and it's on film, there's no place to hide. So I had a great singing teacher called Anne-Marie Speed, and a dance teacher called Sean Niles. And so, I had a great team of people that I relied on.
Do you have a favorite song or scene from the film?
I haven't seen it, but what I have seen is the montage sequence where you see the whole of Hugo's past in a 3-minute song called "This Is Me," and because it deals with the hedonism of the gay movement in the 80s, and then the decimation of the AIDS pandemic, and the loss of his career, and most significantly the loss of the person he's in love with. You get the whole history of one person, which then transmits outwardly, I suppose, in microcosm of what happened to many people of that lost generation. And I think it has a great sort of emotional heft and anchor in the middle of the story. And I thought it was a very smart thing to do. And
what can you say about your young co-star, Max?
Oh, he's absolutely brilliant. Complete natural. I learned from him. He was still at drama college when he got this role. He sings, he dances, he looks amazing. He's a great sense of humor. He's very modest, incredibly hardworking, professional, knew every single line of dialogue, the intention, everything right from the get-go. So he was really impressive, and I think it's star performance.
I agree. And what do you think is the message that you hope audiences will take away from this film?
I think that it celebrates diversity, inclusivity, and more than anything, tolerance. And man, oh man, I think we're in short supply of that at the moment. Between Donald Trump and Brexit and everything that's going on the planet, I think that these are good things to celebrate.
Yeah, well, my next questions are about other projects which are a little bit more otherworldly. I really loved Dispatches from Elsewhere. It seems like that was a really, really fun show. I'm curious to hear if you have any good memories from that, and also, is there going to be a second season? And if so, would you return in some capacity?
I think that if there was, we did it 2 years ago, I think that with the speed with which stuff gets commissioned, it would have happened by now. And if it has, they haven't asked me back. But I'd followed Sally Field's career and Jason Segel for years and years and years. I didn't know the other actors as well, so it was an enormous thrill to work with those two in particular. So yeah, great time. And I was in Philadelphia 5 months. Yeah.
And you also had the chance to guest star in a really popular show recently, Loki, which I'm sure was a lot of fun also.
Yes. Another character whose name begins with L, like Loco Chanelle, who's also in tights.
What was that experience like, and is that something that you would do again? Because I know there is a second season coming of that at some point in the future.
Well, if they asked me, I would beg them for a muscle suit so that I could look like the Jack Kirby drawings instead of, wizened old Kermit the Frog, which is what I did look like. Yeah, that's what I would like. And I think that, the opportunity that classic old Loki is the only one who can speak fluent alligator is a script writing gift, because, for a subgenre, sub-series, Old Loki and the Alligator.com. Pitch that.
And you've had so many great roles over the course of your career. I know I remember seeing you in Gosford Park and Can You Ever Forgive Me and so many more. Is there anything that really just stands out as one of your favorites?
Wow, I never sort of look back. I'm always thinking about what I've just done or what I'm in the middle of doing or going ahead. But thank you for the compliment. I don't know. I think that the friendships that I've had with the people on every job I've had, for the most part, made great friendships with people, and that to me is the gold dust of. It's better than any money that I've earned.
And looking ahead, what do you have coming up besides this?
I've just finished a Netflix version of Jane Austen's Persuasion with Dakota Johnson and Cosmo Jarvis that comes out next Easter.
Wonderful. That's great. Well, I really appreciate you speaking with me today, and I hope everybody will watch Everybody's Talking About Jamie when it comes to Amazon Prime Video on September 17th.
Thank you, Abe.
Very nice to meet you, Richard.
And you. Cheers.
Take care.